Breaking news, a jury in Virginia rules in favor of Abigail Zwerner, that former Virginia teacher shot by a 6-year-old student in school. Zwerner is now awarded $10 million in damages after she sued her former school administrator, alleging she ignored repeated warnings about that student and failed to act after several staff members even told her that student had a gun in his backpack. Justice Department reporter Jack Dade, also our legal contributor, Bernardo Villalona, join me now for more. So, Jack, let's just start by how we got here.
Well, we have to go back to January 2023 when this incident occurred. The people at the school, students, had related, and eventually to Ebony Parker, who's the assistant principal at the school, that this student was believed to have had a gun. Ebony Parker, the assistant principal, the jury found, failed to act in a manner that possibly could have prevented the shooting from occurring. This 6-year-old drew a gun and shot Abigail Zwerner, the teacher, in the wrist, in the stomach, and in the abdomen. And now the jury has rendered its verdict. She'll be awarded $10 million for that incident for the assistant principal failure to act in this matter.
So, Bernardo, the plaintiff initially asked for $40 million. She was awarded $10 million. Why do you think it turned out this way?
Well, I think it turned out this way because the jury also saw that she actually is not the person that pulled the trigger, but that a student actually pulled the trigger. I think she would have been awarded a lot more money if that was the case, that she actually pulled the trigger. But the reality is that she enabled this to actually happen because the buck stopped with her and she failed to investigate. So that's why this jury was able to come back so quickly and finding against the supervisor and for the victim in this case, because her negligence led to this disaster. And thankfully, she did not die.
Sure. All right, Jack, Bernardo, thank you so much for...
Oh, that is absolutely crazy. So you mean to tell me you get several reports that a 6-year-old has a gun, you don't do anything? You get several reports saying that the child is a danger to himself and others, you don't do anything? She got to be charged. No, not just, you don't just need monetary, she got to face some charges. Absolutely crazy. Let's get over into this next video and see what else we can learn.
A Virginia jury is now deliberating the case of former teacher Abby Zwerner, who was shot during class by her 6-year-old student back in 2023. Zwerner is suing Newport News Schools for $40 million. Her lawyers argue the assistant principal at the time, Ebony Parker, failed to act after being told multiple times that the boy had a gun.
Dr. Parker sat on her hands. At 12:21 p.m., if Dr. Parker was doing her job, she would have walked into that room, grabbed that book bag, and none of these questions would have ever been asked ever again.
100%.
Zwerner's lawyers also claim Parker denied requests from teachers to search the boy's pockets for a weapon. Parker's lawyers insist she acted cautiously and wanted to wait for the boy's mother before searching him. They also argue if the teachers thought the threat was so serious, they could have called 911. The defense also pointing to the low likelihood of a 6-year-old bringing a gun to school.
Come on now. Come on. Now, I know at least I thought, is that if you even get an inkling of someone's holding a gun, you get the resource officer and they will check the bag. There's no waiting for the parents, anything like that. Come on now. The resource officer, the officer who's at the school or supposed to be at the school, it will check the bag. Because you can't just go someone had a gun and just let that go by. No, what you mean you just let it go by? But let's keep going. Let's keep going.
It was a tragedy that until that day was unprecedented, it was unthinkable, and it was unforeseeable. And I ask that you please not compound that tragedy by blaming Dr. Parker for it.
Earlier in the trial, Zwerner testified about the moments a bullet traveled through her hand, then into her chest.
I thought I had died. I thought I was either on my way to heaven or in heaven.
She says she needed multiple surgeries and now struggles with depression. The former assistant principal soon faces a separate criminal trial.
There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear that she gets some kind of criminal charge. So let's get over into this next video where we hear about from the lawyer that represented the teacher. So let's get over into it.
Abigail Zwerner is not speaking publicly tonight, but her lawyers are. Joining us now are attorneys Diane Toscano and Jeffrey Bray. Thank you so much for making time for us today. I know it's been a busy day. We appreciate you.
Yes,
Pleasure
thank
to
you
be
for having
here.
us.
Of course. Jeffrey, I will start with you. First, how is your client doing? How is Abby doing tonight?
She's with her family. She's happy. She's relieved. She's relaxed. A lot of pressure over a lot of months. And so just to have this done and have it done well, I think she's very, very happy to be with her sister and her mother and the rest of her family.
You know, after hearing that testimony, that's absolutely what she deserves. Diane, you said today you're very happy with the verdict, but you were originally seeking $40 million in damages. Does $10 million, is that sufficient for all the pain that Abigail is enduring and will continue to throughout her life?
And that's a great question. Right now, we are still dealing with post-trial motions after the jury verdict. So we do come back in front of the judge, who will then issue a judgment for that verdict. So at this time, I'm not going to get into a lot about the amount that was awarded, but I can tell you, Abby was so glad to be able to get this before a jury, to get this trial heard, and we were very happy with the verdict coming back in her favor.
And Jeffrey, it took a long time to get here. Your team has been waiting for justice. This shooting happened 2 years ago. Do you have any concerns that the ex-assistant principal could appeal the decision that was made today?
First of all, it's 2 years and 3/4 of another year. And I would expect an appeal. I think the school board and its lawyers and the insurance carriers have made a decision that, quite frankly, most of the people in Newport News disagree with. I thought this case would have been resolved after 2 years of litigation. It was not. And so if there is an appeal, I think the law is on our side. The judge thought the law was on our side. That's why we're here in a jury trial for damages. And so I'm not going to be worrying about what they do on appeal. They do what they need to do, but we'll be ready to arm ourselves to get ready to fight the fight.
Absolutely crazy. You know, I'm not going to stop it too much. But I would like to know, I'm happy that she was awarded everything, but I want to know how much the lawyers got. So she got, if they give her $10 million, how much does the lawyers get? Lawyers fees for 2 years? They might get half, but I'm just saying something. I don't know how much the lawyer's fee would actually be, but it's going to be significant. It's going to be significant. Let's keep going.
I want to go back to something you said before, that this was the first televised civil case, at least that you know of. Why was that important to do, and what kind of precedent do you hope it makes going forward?
Well, first of all, we were talking about Virginia and the televised cases. And I just think the significance of this shooting in a school where teachers, children, other people around the school were all at risk. And I think the significance is the fact that we need to make school security the most important thing we can do for our children and our teachers. And I think this judgment today from this jury tells administrators across the country, make safety the most important thing in our school so that kids can get an education and teachers can be safe.
Yeah, I've been following this case and what's been going on in the courtroom, and that's exactly what you two were displaying there to the jury. Diane, the criminal case against the ex-assistant principal, that's set to begin later this month. How do you hope this verdict will go into that case or will lead into that case?
I'm not weighing in on that case. That's something that the prosecutors and the criminal defense attorney are going to handle. I will tell you, Abby is a witness in the case, so we will be there one of those days. She'll be testifying as a witness, but she's not the actual victim of that case. So I'm not going to weigh in on what happens and what should happen in that criminal case. I'm focused on the fact that we took this case to trial for Abby, her civil lawsuit, and we got a verdict in her favor, and we're very happy about that.
Fair enough. Jeffrey, the civil case focused a lot on Zwerner's mental anguish or physical pain. We heard it in that testimony. You said a lot of this was foreseeable. How should schools learn from this incident with your client?
Well, first of all, I think school security, whether it's an individual shooting event like this one or the mass shooting events, which have done so much damage to our country, this needs to be a focus. Teachers need to be able to come to school. Students need to be able to go to school, and parents need to understand that we're getting an education and we're not going to worry about our children in a school atmosphere. So administrators around the country now need to understand they can be and will be held accountable, and that's what this jury told them. And so the responsibility falls with them. This verdict from this jury told everybody in the country, let's make safety first and get back to doing what we do in the schools, which is teach the children in a safe environment.
100% correct. The administration has to be held accountable. How are you telling me that that you get multiple reports that a child is holding a gun and you do nothing. You were the administration. You talking about if they really felt scared, they should have called the police. No. If someone tells you they're holding a gun, call the resource officer, do your job, and go search the bag. What do you mean? It's unlikely a 6-year-old. It don't matter if it's unlikely. Kids are growing up faster and faster, more violent and violent. Okay, they might not. So the 6-year-old might not even know what it was. It's possible because I've heard of cases where kids bring knives just to show them off. They weren't planning to do anything, but this kid obviously shot someone. He knew what the gun was. He knew how to use it, and there was multiple reports telling you that the kid had a gun. And you sit on your butt and do nothing. You got to be held responsible. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You have to. Let's keep going.
Diane, there's also an interesting twist that if the assistant principal is found guilty in the criminal trial, insurance may have a case to get out of paying Zwerner the $10 million in the civil case that was decided today. Do you have any concerns about that?
I really don't. We don't feel that that is a real concern. They've been fighting us at every turn about this case, and we're confident that we're going to be able to get a judgment against the insurance company.
I asked your partner the same thing, but what do you hope this case, what kind of precedent do you hope this case sets?
I hope that the schools across the nation are on notice that we have to take any type of threat serious. If there's
100%.
a concern that there's a possibility that there's a gun on campus, then we need to investigate it and get to the very bottom of it. And I hope that this case sends that message so that all of our teachers, all of our students are protected in school. It's a shame. There are school shootings that can't be prevented. Nobody knows in advance. So when you have a case like this, where those facts are there, the concerns are there, and nothing's done, it's just unacceptable. And hopefully all the administrators, all the schools now understand that something will be done.
Well, we are certainly thinking of Abby tonight. I remember this case from 2 years ago, and it really is just very eerie, and I'm glad it worked out for her. Diane Toscano and Jeffrey Brait, thank you so much.
Absolutely crazy, y'all. Absolutely crazy. Luckily, I'm happy that jury awarded her some money. I want to see what happens with the criminal case, so I will keep up with that. What kind of charges are they going to file against her? But sitting on your ass, sitting on your butt, and not doing something when multiple people come to you and say, "Oh, there is a 6-year-old has a gun," and then you just sit on your butt. You got to be charged. You got to be charged. The school has to be charged for it. Now we'll see if she actually gets paid. Hope the lawyers are confident that they're going to get some money for it. But teachers are what raise the children, show them guidance, teach them. That the teachers are a great part, or an important part of the youth, of just going through life. So we have to protect them. They already don't get paid too much. Now they got to worry about getting shot by 6-year-olds. And we're not going to get what the 6-year-old look like. But think about what you will. But absolutely crazy. I would like to know where he got the gun from. Is it his parents' gun? And will the parents be charged because he had a gun? There's still a lot of questions, but we will keep up with this and see what kind of criminal charges she get. Absolutely crazy, y'all. Let me know your thoughts on that whole situation. Let me know if you disagree with anything I said. All right, everybody. Remember, this is AC Reviews the Word. Remember to like and subscribe.